If you're like every other business owner right now online, then you are probably posting every day, reels, carousels, caption, the lot. And by tomorrow, it's gone, buried. And so you feel like you're back at the start, making more content from scratch. And if that is your life right now, then this video is gonna change how you think about content. Because if you're constantly pouring your efforts into content that disappears and is not bringing you clients, I'm guessing that even though you're consistent, you're probably feeling exhausted, maybe burnt out, and also feeling like none of it is really compounding in a profitable way. So later in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how a 10-minute video turns into at least 8 different pieces of content that you can put wherever you like. And not only that, that lives on when you're not working, when you're not online, when you're not creating content. One recording, a whole content engine, completely sorted. So you don't want to miss that. And listen, I have been doing long form content for 10 years. And honestly, it's been one of the biggest drivers in my business. And we've done millions of dollars with a very clear strategy of what we're doing, why we're doing it, and how it's working. So here's what we're going to cover today. Why most of the content you're probably creating right now is disposable and what it's costing you, how to pick the long form content that actually works for you, what a single 10-minute video can actually become, and why this is the perfect strategy if you want to build things that keep selling for you even when you're not around. So let's get into it. So let's talk about the first thing, which is the disposable content trap. And the truth is that you could be creating content ongoing every day, but if you don't actually have a system behind it, then it really does feel disposable, like you're just putting it out there, crossing your fingers and seeing what happens. And if you don't have something that has a system and is measurable, then you don't really know what's working. You don't really know what's driving the actions that you want your audience to take. And I hate to say it, but you're probably wasting your time if you're doing that. And if you feel like you've got disposable content as the problem in your business right now, and I'm sure you know it, like you'll be able to feel it. I believe that the fix is one asset that just works harder for you. And so the question you just have to ask yourself is, what format is that? Now, when I first started my podcast, which is the Brand Builders Lab podcast, I started it in 2017. So almost 10 years ago. And we were renovating our house and I wanted something that I could send to my subscribers every single week. So I wanted a fresh piece of content. And because we were on a building site, I was not doing video. And I thought, okay, I can talk underwater. I am a speaker. I'm a podcaster. I find it really easy just to riff on particular topics. And I thought, okay, this is probably going to be the easiest thing that I could potentially do that's going to help me to have fresh content on a regular basis. At the beginning, I wasn't looking at metrics. I didn't really have a strategy around it. I just knew that I could share that with my audience. And what ended up happening was that by creating that long form piece of content every single week, not only did the podcast hit over 500,000 downloads, but I would get messages from people all the time just saying, I'm on a long car drive. I've now listened to 4 episodes. I need to understand the best way to work with you, or can you send me the details for Brand Builders Academy or whatever the product was that I might have been mentioning. And so that long form piece of content was just working for me on an ongoing basis. It wasn't disposable. It still works for me because what happens is that people find me and then they can go back to, we're now at 450 odd episodes. And so they can really get my vibe. They can understand what I believe, what I talk about, what I've done, how I help, and whether I'm right for them or not. And that's because the majority of my content is anything from 10 minutes to an hour. And can I tell you, I was in the grind, the Instagram grind, a long time ago, where we were just posting all the time, sometimes getting hits, sometimes not getting hits. And I really found when I compared the work that we were doing, the effort that we were putting in, the value we were able to share with our audience and also build a community, the long form content won by a mile. I was able to see that 30 to 40% of clients were coming from the podcast. So they might have found me on Instagram or they might have found me through Google, but once they found the podcast, that is where they would binge and then they would make a decision to take the next step. And the reason that we know that is because we tracked it. We'd get the DMs literally saying, I've just listened to the podcast. Or when we asked, where did you find Suze? They would say the podcast. So we knew that that was what was happening. And whether it's YouTube or the podcast, the point is that there was one main piece of content. And I think that you've really got to go with your flow. Like, what do you love to do? Substack is exploding right now. So if you love to write, then that could be an amazing place for you. And so the second thing is decide on what your format is and lean into what you do best. And the truth is that you don't have to do it all. But I do think that it is smart right now to do YouTube and videos. Why? Number one, the tech is inexpensive and great quality and easy to use. I personally use my DJI Osmo. I literally plug it in with my little microphone and I go. And then I use platforms like Descript, which have got AI editing that just make it so easy, so fast. And I'll take you a little bit more into the process in a bit, but I think just knowing that really helps, because when I first started creating content, I had a DSLR camera and it would take forever to transfer the files and then to edit it. Like, it was really cumbersome. And so it wasn't something that I wanted to do because it wasn't easy and it wasn't something that I could do quickly and effectively, which is why I just did audio to start with. And if you're currently thinking, oh, Suze, that sounds hard, I want you to forget about the format for a second. And I just want you to think about the opportunity. Because if you can create one piece of content that allows you to distribute en masse really easily, why wouldn't you do that? Especially if it could give you the outcome and the results and the clients that you actually want. Why wouldn't you? Thirdly, let's talk about the 10-minute video. And when I say 10 minutes, you could be doing a 7-minute video or a 17 or a 27-minute video. It doesn't really matter. It's really just deciding that long form content is going to be something that you implement in your business because you understand what the strategy is. And I do want to go back to the podcast for 1 second, because I've had so many people say to me, how have you done it pretty much every week for almost 10 years? And it's because I understood why I was doing it. It wasn't like I would do it and then think, oh, if I don't get more than X number of listens or views, I'm not going to do this anymore. It was something that I committed to in my business because I knew, number one, this is the kind of content that I want to create. 2, it helped me to really articulate what it is I do, who I do it for, and why what I do is different. It helped me become a much better communicator. It helped me reach huge audiences. And not only did I get coaching clients from it, but there have also been so many times where I've had highly paid speaking gigs come from the podcast because a decision maker listened to the podcast and decided to hire me to come and speak to their 100-person membership or 100-person organization or at their conference. And so the opportunities are there if you want them. But just understanding that deciding to do long form content, whether it's written video or audio, is you honing your craft, is you honing your thinking, your messaging, and your ability to deliver it to a larger audience. So when you decide to do a long form video, no matter what the length is that you decide, I kind of think anything that is longer than 7 minutes is long form. This is what it can turn into. And this is what I turn mine into, using a very powerful and amazing Claude skill that I absolutely love. And if you want to grab it below, you can do that. So the first thing is I record on my DJI Osmo. I then take that and I put it into Descript. Descript does a whole lot of AI editing for me. And obviously I go through and I edit it myself. And from that, I download the audio file, the video file, and the transcript. Once I have the transcript, I then put that into Claude and I use my repurposing skill, which then gives me the YouTube description and also does a search for the best titles as well. What title will work? What title will get people's attention? What should the thumbnail say? Then the audio, and then I'll also get the podcast show notes so that that goes into the podcast app. It will then also give me the SEO blog post that goes on my website. We then repurpose that for Substack. And so the majority of that happens at the click of a button, and then populating that to the different platforms probably takes about an hour. If you've got a VA, they will do that for you. Otherwise, if you're doing that, it really doesn't take a lot of time. And I think just having that system in place Just knowing that every week, my content takes me around about 2 hours a week to do. When you think about the cumulative effect of content, opportunity, building your audience and your community, can you afford 2 hours a week? As a business owner in 2026 and beyond, I think that that is a no-brainer for me. And then from the transcript, I'm also getting my weekly newsletter and obviously sharing this video with my subscribers. I'm also then creating carousels and captions as well, and reel scripts. So just doing this one video is giving you such a huge bank of content that you can then reuse, repurpose, and distribute. Makes life so easy. And so from the video in Descript as well, it will create clips for me. And once I download those clips, I can then go to Metricool and I can schedule them across Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube Shorts, LinkedIn in one go. And you can tweak it for each channel if you want as well. The other thing that I love about Metricool, and this is not sponsored, but it should be, is that it has the option for evergreen content. So let's say that I create something that either does well or that I know that I want to post more than once. I can actually say, we're going to post this particular piece of content once a month on the first Monday of the month, or once every 2 months, so that you're reusing the content that you've got as well. It's not disposable like a lot of your Instagram content might be. So you've really got a domino effect happening from one piece of content that you're creating. And this is why I think this is the smart way for you to be creating content, because it can be found through AI, through Google. You're sending it out to your subscribers, you're putting it across platforms. Now, the one thing I want to say is that you can just choose to master one platform if you want. But with AI and scheduling, I just don't see why you wouldn't share that across multiple platforms if you know that the content is good. If you know that it's quality content, and if you're sharing short clips or carousels, you can then be driving people back to your website, to the blog, to YouTube, to your podcast, wherever it is that you want to send them. Now, on my blog page on my website, it has the embedded podcast player, it has the embedded YouTube video, and then it has the SEO blog. And obviously at the end of that, it's got a call to action, it's got freebies people can download, etc. So you can put that all in one place as well. And then that is where you send people. So that if people want to read, if they want to listen, if they want to watch, it's all there for them. And so this is all about creating evergreen assets and an ecosystem that keeps working for you. And I'll give you an example of how this has worked really well for me, is that so often over the last few years, when I get back from holidays in January, I usually have a good number of new client calls or discovery calls or emails. And I'll tell you why. Because over the break, people have binged the podcast, or they've found me on YouTube or wherever, and now they're ready to have a conversation. And so that's happened for the last couple of years, which is amazing. And I was not working when that was working for me, which is where you really want to get to in your business as well. You want to have those assets that are always working for you. If I went onto the podcast app right now and I searched a particular term, marketing, branding, whatever it is, how to become more confident to show up on camera, then my podcast or videos, because Spotify now has video as well, can be found by people who are looking for that specific content. So it's searchable. So it's not just going to people who know you, but it's going to people who are looking to find the answer that you have got for them. And lastly, the reason why this compounds, and the real reason to do it, is that the ecosystem doesn't just get you found, as I just mentioned, but it helps to build your brand. It directly invites somebody to work with you and keeps selling when you're not around, which is kind of the whole point. And that is why this is the hill that I am willing to die on. If you do not have long form content in your business, I don't know what you're doing. You're playing the disposable content game. And this is what I mean when I always say build a brand that sells for you. This is it. This is the part of the brand that you're building that shares who you are, what you believe, what you're all about, and how you can help your clients. And it is doing that selling for you. And you want to squeeze as much juice out of that as you possibly can, which is why I'm such a huge one for repurposing and just putting it out there. So back to the start, that hamster wheel of creating content that vanishes within 24 hours, you don't have to live there. And all the content that I just walked you through, the clips, the podcast, the transcript, the blog, the Substack, the newsletter, the carousels, the captions, all of that can be done in 10 minutes of you recording a video just like this. So stop making disposable content, start building an ecosystem, pick one format that you love, that is where you are in flow, that you can easily do, and know that you'll get better at it as well, and then hit record once a week. If this landed for you, then make sure you go and watch this video next. It'll help you nail your messaging. And if you're ready to build a brand that gets you found and sells for you when you're not around, that's exactly what we do inside the Brand Accelerator, which is the accelerator for experienced business owners who are done playing small and want to build their personal brand ecosystem and sales system so you've got a brand that sells for you. The link is in the description below. Now go be bold, and I'll see you in the next one.